A warm welcome to my craft room this evening, and we're going to get started with alcohol inks. I love using this product, and I love using it on the Adirondack sheets that you get in a package for alcohol inking. It's beautiful. I took some bright colors. I'm just pouring them out on this sheet. I'm going to take my Copic Air Compressor, and that's how I'm going to move this ink around. And I'm going to show you later in the video the different ways of blowing the air around this sheet and what you can use to do that. There's many ways. You can use a straw, you can use so many methods, but I'm going to start out with the compressor because I have the Copic Air Compressor and it moves it beautifully. I love the way the Adirondack paper works with alcohol inks. It's amazing how it just sits on top, or it seats itself on top, either way, tomato, tomato. Yeah, you know it's late. And remember that card I said I got all the dots on? This was from doing that. You know, I do a project and then I stop and I think of something else and I start that and then I put it aside, and this was one of them. I absolutely love using the Copic Air Compressor or a straw if you have enough air in your lungs that you could blow through a straw and do this method is fantastic. I have done that before on a video, and I do have a video up with alcohol inked tiles with birch trees. I think you really like it, so I'll leave that in the description bar for you to check it out. The one thing about alcohol inks that you'll see here as I'm putting on the colors, and I'm actually moving the colors where I want them with the air, and that's what's truly amazing. You can get so many patterns on a sheet of this. I'm using Adirondack paper, but you can use Kodak paper that has the nice shine on it. It works just as well, but I'm experimenting here to make just some glowing colors come out of it. I actually made some seashells. You'll see that later on in here. I made some roses by just moving the air gun, yes. And love that mess. Look at that. Just pick it up with the paper on the sides and right there. Smush it right in and then blow what you want to. If it's too dark, add that pressure of air right on it and move it. Look how beautiful. It takes the undertone and brings it alive. I get mesmerized while doing this. It is beautiful. And I have a couple of videos where I show how to make scenes with alcohol ink. I'll put that in the description bar for you to watch on the tiles. This is truly an easy technique with wonderful, wonderful results. And while you're doing this and you're moving the color, you're thinking in your mind everything you could do and stamp over top. And I chose to do the sunset. I think you're going to absolutely love the finish effect. And we're going to get started with that. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. And look at this. The closer you get to the paper with your air compressor or whatever method you're using, the more it will move out. And I like to layer it so it has undertones, like different colors underneath that I can push out with the air. And this is truly a fascinating way to create art. I just love it. Just to mention a few things that you can use as a background, like you can either have a sunset, a sunrise, you can use it with all different blue hues to make a wonderful backdrop for a fish tank. That's what I'm going to show you next. My next tutorial will be using alcohol inks on acetate, and I'll be making a fish tank. It's absolutely stunning. I know I say absolutely 1,000 times. I get so carried away with using this technique with alcohol inks. It just, I don't know, it takes you to another world of art and creativity. and you can see and in your mind exactly what you can create. And if you move the whatever method you're using, I'll say the compressor here, if you move it around and around and get closer and closer, you will see roses pop out just before your eyes. I mean, and this is what I say about scooping it up. And I wanted to make a dark edge, and that's how I'm picking up the dark alcohol ink on my mat and leaving it on the edges. You'll see that I don't I don't blow that alcohol ink off the paper. I want it to stay so it looks like it actually has a small frame around it. I think you get a wonderful look. And I can see trees. This is where I started to think, okay, I'm going to use a tree stamp that I have, just the one tree stamp made by Art Gone Wild, and it's gorgeous. And then I'm going to take the Stampin' Up! White ink, and we are going to make birch trees. I'm going to use the silicone Finnabar brush, which is fantastic for making birch trees. You can cut up an old credit card, something that has some substance to it, to do this particular technique of doing birch trees. There's the rose right there. See how I'm just going to stop talking here and show you. I'm going around and around and around and creating beautiful flowers. See that rose up there? And the green one, you'll just see me creating roses all over just by moving the air, and they just produce beautiful flowers. It's something that you could put that right on a sheet and you'd have, that's just beautiful with the sentiment on it, isn't it? But then you can take your alcohol blending solution and watch it move out. Watch this. That looks like a peony to me. I could just take that silicone brush and work flowers all over this. It would be wonderful. It's easy. It's not difficult. This is truly a wonderful form of art. I can't say it enough. Don't you think it's fabulous just looking at it? As the blending solution works its way, pushing itself out with the air, it looks like clouds, like you could actually look into heaven. Look at right there. It forms beautiful clouds, and it has like grass type forms that you could use as well if you weren't going for the look of having clouds. There isn't any project that you can imagine, and you don't have to be an artist, to draw very well to come up with a beautiful card like this. I'm going to show you an easy way of making a nature background with one stamp and white Stampin' Up! Ink, the silicone brush. You could use the credit card like I said and cut it up. It's something stiff that you can form the birch trees with, and I chose to use the Finnabar silicone brush. And I just wanted you to see, as I was working this project, how it changes as you add the ink. Just drop whatever colors you want. I like to add the light ones on the bottom so that when I add the darker tones, I can blow the air through it and bring up the undertone and yet keep the dark. And it was really important for me to have that frame, that dark frame around it. So I kept the alcohol ink on my mat so that I could pat down the color or drag it through the alcohol ink to make my frame. And here I'm just giving it a lot of air going around it. And then I thought, okay, I want to have a sunset. So I needed to push the darker colors out, and look at that beautiful salmon color there on the left side. It has just about, I think I used 6 different colors. And then if you don't like what you see on here, add some more blending solution. I added some yellow hues to push out, because what blending solution does is takes the alcohol ink and moves it, just like you're moving it with your air compressor, in my case with the air compressor here. And what a wonderful time you will have creating. And this would make a beautiful scene for like an earth scene with all different planets around it. I can see that when I'm looking at it. It's endless. It's an endless way of creating. Then you can add dark right over top of the blending solution and push it out with the air. And it's right about here I knew I was going to do a sunset. Then I took my damp cloth and I went over it and I dried it quickly. I wanted to remove some of the alcohol ink that was sitting on top, and it dries pretty quick. But if you take a cloth that has a little bit of a pattern on it, that's the effect I wanted to get right there, and I got it. I was so pleased. And look what happened when it dried. Isn't that amazing how light that came up? So you have to remember it will dry lighter than what you put it down. And here we're going to use the VersaFine Onyx Black ink because it works very well. It's a great black ink. And this is the Art Gone Wild stamp. Stamp will give us some trees. There's the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Love this. It's so vivid, and you want to get out your clear embossing powder. Yes, this will take clear embossing powder with the inks without moving the ink again, and it will come out as clear as can be. So let's move on. Here's the air compressor that I have. It's the Sparmax air compressor. I got it on Ellen Hudson. Right now they have a $69 savings, I think it is. It's quite a good buy over there, and I'll leave the link in the description bar. That's where I bought it last year, and it is available. I went out and I checked the site, and she does have it on sale, and I'm pretty sure it's free shipping. I'm trying to get it all in here. It has a beautiful long cord to add your the canister that you need to use. And then because I do Copic coloring, I knew this would come in handy because the air compressor cans, this is the adapter you need to put on the end. And then you just screw on the actual canister, put your Copic marker in, not that side, you want to turn it around. Yeah, you want to use the other side, the square side, and there you have it. Turn it around. Yeah, right there. Turn it around, Carol. Right there. You want the point and at the top. And then you can do wonderful techniques with your Copics. I just wanted to show you that, or use it as an air canister. And it's just a real savings for me in the long run. I used to use just the cans, you know, the D60. And I also use the air dusters. They're beautiful. They have the straw end, and I get this at my stationery store, and that's where you'll find it. And then there's the small set, the Copic canister. It's called D60. It has the compressed air, and this is the larger one. It's the 180. It's so funny because when I first started, there's my mini glue dots. That's even funnier. I found them looking for these in one of the cupboards on the island. I knew I had this D60 set I haven't used yet. I have a couple of them because they really do go on sale at Michael's, and you can use your coupons and get it for a really good price. So I keep them on hand even though I have the compressor now. And this is the compressor. It's super, super quiet. It's on sale at Ellen Hudson, and I'll leave the link to it. And they do have a supply. I already checked it. And then it's like anything. I started out with, it has the adapter. So if you move up to the 180, you do get the hose with it there. So you can move it around and you get more air, and you can use the adapter. And it is the next best thing to having the compressor because it does have the cord there. But I do like the D60 canister, just putting the gun on the top, taking the lid off, putting the gun on there, and put your Copics in, or use it just for air, but it doesn't have a lot of lifetime to it. So you have to know that they're not cheap to get unless you use your coupons. And I think I just saved up to get the compressor when it came on sale. And I think if you do use Copics quite a bit, it is a huge investment. But like I said at the beginning, you can just use a straw and it works very well. If you don't have to do a lot of cards. it would work out well. But I do keep these on hand, even though I have the compressor, because sometimes I do get my grandchildren come over and they like to use this compressor, with the Copics. So I keep them on hand. Whenever I see the D60 little set there, I buy them at Michael's because you can get such a good buy. When they go on sale, then you can use your 20% off your total order. And yeah, it's just that little set. Now next is the Finnabar silicone brush. Here's what I used to make my trees in this video. You can use anything that has a sharp edge. You can use the credit card, motel card. I liked the metal plaster tools there that I got at the hardware store. I used those to make it anything, like I said, with a sharp edge. So here, I know this looks very dull, but you will notice this card is very vibrant at the end when I show you the pictures. For some reason, my camera was not picking up the color. But I left you the number of the Art Gone Wild stamp. It cost me $10.50 US, and I think it's worth every penny. So I took this beautiful VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It's so vivid. And I left the right-hand side, as you can see, free to start my birch trees. And I'm going to show you with these metal plaster tools that I bought just at my local hardware store, with the Finnabar brush. And then I had that other tool there. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll try to look it up for you. I did use it on the birch trees. Birch trees are very, very easy to create with white ink. And I like the Stampin' Up white ink particularly because it's so nice and vibrant. So I take the metal tool and I slide it back and forth. It gives you a very, very thin line because it's metal. So the more you tip it, the thicker the line. And then I'm going to show you how I take the silicone brush and I'm dabbing it on, sliding it each way to give you those beautiful lines of a birch tree. And later on we will do that. I just wanted to show you close up. I'm going to take it before I do anything and add my clear embossing powder because I didn't want to get my hand on the left hand side, can you imagine, and smear the trees, my foliage that I needed there. But we're going to add some nice birch trees all throughout there, and look how nice that comes up when you heat set it. It's just beautiful. I use the detailed clear embossing powder. Look at that stamp. And that stamp is actually wider. You saw I only used 3/4 of it. Yes, I think it's gorgeous. I went on Amazon for you and I saw that the Finnabar silicone, brushes were on sale for $7.49 for the 1-inch and $10, just over $10 for the 2-inch. And these are wonderful for painting. I had to have them in my craft room. I use them for so many different projects. And here I'm just dabbing straight on for now. I just want to get the basics of where I want to set my birch trees. And I'm going to show you how I do it. Just dab it on each side. You can see, yeah, it's kind of matte. I use these all the time. And straight up and down, you get the nice fine lines, and then I tip it. And I'm trying to do it so that I can show you. It's kind of hard. I have my camera pretty close up here. But you want to slide it across. You know how the birch trees have that peeled look to the bark? And that's what you get using this silicone. Or you'll get the same effect really if you use a cut credit card. Anything that will give you that crisp edge, like I said. And look at that. You can just form. I think it's better on this one. I'm just going to add the corners to add my branches going out, and the finish effect, you're not going to believe how beautiful it looks. So just put it on a slant and then push it forward and then turn it around here. I'm just getting the color on for you, and then we'll work the other trees to the left-hand side. It's such an easy peasy method of making something look so appealing, and I think this card really does look like a beautiful sunset scene and with one stamp and a sharp tool, and you get this beautiful effect. I don't think you could ask for anything more. Once you have the areas where you have marked your birch trees, the fun begins because you just slant like I'm doing here, slant and drag, and you get that beautiful peeled look. And then you just take the side of the silicone brush or whatever sharp. I tried to use all of them for you so you could, all of the tools, so you could see what effect each one gave you. And I think you'll agree with me that the silicone brush is a beautiful tool to use for birch trees. And however thick you want to have your trunks depends on how you bend your tool. And the silicone bends beautifully, just works in your hand. And as you drag the white ink, that's where you get the effect. Leave some of it empty and then drag, pick the right or the left side, and then you will get that bark look. And then you take another metal sharp object. That one that you're looking at in the upper right has little edges on it. It's serrated, and that will give you, with the black ink, it will get in the grooves of the actual bark that you're creating here. And when you put the clear embossing powder on it, you're going to get, guess what? Texture. You're going to love it. Lots and lots of texture, which is going to make these trees pop out, and this scene is going to come alive. I guarantee you will love this method of using alcohol inks, one background stamp, white ink, and a couple of little tools. And I absolutely loved creating this card. It was so relaxing. So here I'm taking that little slanted metal tool, and see how it has the grooves? I'm sliding it across the bottom of my ink because you are going to use up, my ink is very full. This is a new little ink container here. And look at how it just puts those little black marks into the birch with the serrated edge. Beauteous. I love it. Look at that. Are they coming alive or what? I just love watching it. I even loved creating it even more for you. And then slide it down if you want a crisp edge. I added a lot of ink to this one, and this is where I'm going to drag. I'm going to take the ink from that one spot of that aged birch right there. I love that look. And then I will make some branches come out of it, and it will draw your eye to the right hand side there of the tree. I think it's beautiful. And then you can just go wild with it, like art gone wild, just like the stamp says. This will totally relax you, actually. I mean, birch trees, what card doesn't look nice adding birch trees? Look at that. Really, when that dries and you put the clear embossing powder on, it won't look as vivid. The clear embossing powder adds to the texture. And look at that. You can add some black lines so it looks like some older trees are coming up in the background. I love it. I just love this card. It doesn't take long. Now I'm going to show you with this tool. I can't remember why I bought this tool, but I just love it. It works just like the silicone brush. It has that ability to bend like you like it. It's not as sharp on the end, but if I can find the name of that, you can see I switched back here because I want to add some dull white into the black, and it will wash right off the silicone. That's the beauty of using this silicone brush. It cleans up in a second, and then I'm adding some fine lines, and look at that. Love it. Alcohol inks are an amazing way to create a sunset sunrise background. And here I put the clear embossing powder. You can see it on here, and I added it super thick. I just kept pouring it on, And I'm doing a close-up so you can see the beautiful texture this creates on your birch trees. It looks like they're alive. It looks like you went through kind of like a beautiful swamp area. If swamps can be beautiful, this is it. This is a beautiful swamp sunset card. But isn't it gorgeous? And then I'm just going to clean up here. And I want to do it really close up so you can see the texture in there of the bark and birch and the way the black, it's beautiful. So now we're going to pick up the color by using some cardstock. I really liked this one, but that didn't bring out that color in the top. But this one did. It made the cardstock become vibrant, believe it or not. And I used that on the inside. This one here, the real fuchsia pink, I went with the inside of the card where I'm going to write my sentiment. But I went with the lighter color because of that little section I showed you in the sunset. I think it just made the card colors pop, the actual alcohol inks, and that's what you want. You don't want the cardstock to overpower. So I'm just marking it. I love my Fiskars guillotine cutter. This little cutter is, you use your 40% coupon. I keep telling you, it's like $10. It wasn't expensive at all, and I have used it for at least 3 or 4 years and still sharp. So look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? An Aurora Borealis theme would work beautiful with alcohol inks as well, because when you use that compressor, look at with the black and white. I didn't know if I was going to set it on the pink on the black or the pink on the white. So that's why I'm just giving it a little check here to see what I want it to, how I want it to work. And I'm going to show you, I did have a little bit of problems with this because I stuck it down too fast like I usually do. Had to bring it up, but like as you know, the end result, oh yes, I was super happy with it. I was so happy it started snowing gold. Yes, it is snowing where I am. It's minus 10 degrees and beautiful. Nice, beautiful snow, nice, beautiful, crisp air. Couldn't ask for anything more. And alcohol ink card, I mean, isn't that wonderful? So here I'm just taking, and this is 110-pound cardstock, cuts, look at, just like butter, love it. So now I only want a tiny bit. You notice I don't do my background pages thick. I like just a little hint of color coming out, and there you have it. Look at that. Oh, then you add the white. I don't want this to come off, so I'm using my Suquang double-sided tape here. This is the 2.5 inch, and then I'll cut it off with my scissors right here. And I love the edging with the alcohol ink. Like I said, I just made sure that I scooped up the dark tones on my mat and left it onto the Adirondack cardstock. I think it came out really nice. And the pink brings out that pink on the top, don't you think? Yes. For some reason today, even my nail color went with the card. An unplanned accident. Yes. Boy, close-ups on my hands. That's not a good thing, is it? But anywho, yeah, there you have it. I get it down. Be very careful because with this double-sided tape, you have one chance at it. And look at, I can rub it and everything is super, super dry. I'm so pleased with this, I can't even tell you, because it has that texture. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm even giving you a side view, a texture side view. And then I started to make the card and realized that I had to cut it off on the right side, and it's 140-pound cardstock doubled. I went to use my Fiskars cutter and cut it, and it just didn't do it. So I had to start, look at, I had to rip it off. You can see it there. So I decided to cut that. Look at, I had to tear it up, but that's okay because that's what we do. Nobody sees this. I used my ATG gun because it's super sticky. I used my 1/4 inch one because my 1/2 inch ATG gun, I didn't fill it up. So I didn't put the roll of tape in it. So the small one, I think it's 1/4 inch, excuse me. Look at how I have to really cut on this because it's 140 pound. But it does it, yeah, look at beautifully. Just go fast when you come down on the cutter. I love all these happy mistakes at the end when I'm doing a card, and I had a few of them, let me tell you. You're going to see I even had one on the inside of the card. I like to figure out how you're going to remedy it. Isn't that pretty? So I put, this is the inside. I thought, okay, I have another hello. Hi, hello. I have, and I thought, okay, I could just do that. But I thought, where am I going to put my sentiment if I use pink? So I thought, okay, I'll put the black. No, I did not like the pink. It was just, yeah, you can agree with me. That is not going to work. So as I set that aside, I thought, no, I have to go with white. I had to go with white, but not on the inside of the card. And black was not going to work. I put them both out there and I thought, no, I want a vivid hello. And so this is the game I play. I set it everywhere, everywhere on the page. I didn't really want to cover up any of these beautiful birch trees. I really didn't, especially the black one there where it looks so aged. I didn't want to cover it up. I certainly didn't want to cover up the beautiful tree trunk areas and the foliage of that stamp on the bottom there, nor there. And I chose to put it on the top because it has so much open space on the H and on the O. So I thought, there it is. You can see, not there, get it back there, right there. So I got out my 5-inch Xyron. I ran it through. I love this thing. And then just cut it off. Make sure, I took my Teflon bone folder and I went over the top to make sure all the sticky was on the bottom. Then we're going to take it apart and I'm going to show you a wonderful technique for getting the glue off right here. Once you take it off, you can take a little bit of the glue off with your hands. But here I'm situating. I thought, okay, should I put it there? And I thought, no, you do have time. I wanted to show you do have lots of time to move it. The glue is sticky, but on here with so much of the, what do you call it? The slickness of the paper, you can move it. And baby powder is the perfect thing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me spray it on here, but you're going to take your baby powder container and you're going to, right here, I'm grabbing the baby powder, shaking it on there, and then you take the glue off because then it doesn't have all of that sticky black that you can get off your hands. The baby powder will slide the glue off, easy peasy, and then if anything got on the white cardstock, just take your white click eraser. I love this eraser. I get it at my stationery store, and look at that. The baby powder does not allow any of the oils or anything off your fingers to go onto the cardstock. It is a wonderful, wonderful way of keeping it clean and taking off glue. And then I go over it with the eraser to get rid of any little wee pieces of residue that was left onto the actual cardstock with my white click eraser pen. They come in 2 sizes, this fatter version, and it comes with a tiny, tiny little pen when you're doing calligraphy. I have both, and like I said, I got it at my stationery store. Wonderful buy, and look at that. Is that clean or what? So let's move on to the inside. Now, this was funny. I get my 140-pound cut, okay? You want to make it nice and even, so I got that nice and even, and then I'm going to put my ATG gun, because this tape is the gold tape. It's really, really sticky, and you really do only have one-time placement on this. So I get the pink down okay. I get it set there. This is where you want to hover it. You don't want it too close to that cardstock because it will suction right on. But this one, when I put the glue on, it was too far over to the left. I could not get it up. You could see this glue, this ATG is crazy sticky. You can hardly get the gun off the paper. It's that sticky, and watch what happens. I get it too close. I put it down and didn't realize I had too much on the right. Look at that. You may not be able to see it. Look at, I try to get it up. Ooh, no, that is not coming off. Now you know what I grabbed for, don't you? Yes, my stickers, of course. Now that did not go right there. No. I thought, okay, am I going to run that through my 1-inch side run? Of course not. That's 2 inches. That's not going to fit through there. So I thought, okay, let me look at this. I want to take a look. Can I get it off? Nope, 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 no. What am I going to do? There is too much pink on the right. Should I cover it? No, of course not. You have to leave that white on there. So I run to my stash. Oh, yes. And here comes my stickers. Remember, I get them for $2.50, all different patterns. I put it on just the right-hand side so I get the illusion that it's there on purpose, and I didn't make a mistake. It's just a little form of art on the right-hand side, but it is an optical illusion. It really does look like the actual placement is perfect, and that's what I wanted to achieve. Look at that. And I love the look too, so it's a bonus. Mistakes are happy bonuses. Yes, that's how you have to look at it. Just cut it off and be happy. Well, my friends, this is where I'm going to write my sentiment, and there you have it. Hello, there's my alcohol ink Stampin' Up birch trees using white Stampin' Up ink and a few little tools, one background stamp. You can correct all your mistakes with stickers like I did there. Look at that. I love the texture on the top. I love the way it went there. I'm just making sure that there's no glue edges on there, and it's so pretty. Yes. Am I happy? I am. Love alcohol ink backgrounds. Love birch trees. They're just beautiful. Easy peasy. Wonderful technique. I hope you will give it a try. I'm going to grab a doily and I'm going to put it over top of my mat so it looks pretty for you. And I'm going to leave you with some pictures. And as always, you have yourself a blessed, blessed weekend. And thank you for your comments. They always make my day. I'm not caught up on them right here, but I'm going to go back in later tonight and make sure that I answer every single one of them. Yes, where are you going, Carol? Get on there. Look at that. It's my beautiful alcohol ink. Where am I going with this camera? Beautiful inked sunset with birch trees. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Enjoy the pictures. Have yourself a blessed night, and we will see you on the next tutorial.